Welcome to tutorial on procedures to follow when designing a website. What I mean by procedures here is simply methods you need to follow when designing a website or embarking on bigger web project. My name is Isaac Grant. I'm a web designer and a developer. These procedures I'm about to tell you are very important steps every web designer should follow when designing a website. The procedures are as follows. 1. Define your project. Defining of your project is very important whenever you're embarking on a web designing project. 2. Plan out everything. After you must have finished defining your project, you start the planning. Remember, if you don't plan well, the purpose in which you had in mind in developing or in creating that particular project might be defeated. Planning is very important in every phase or in every field of life, in any field of in all fields of endeavor. Planning is very, very important. Now, after you must have finished your planning, the third one is sketch your ideas before you design. Now, after your planning, you've planned out everything, you need to sketch those ideas before you start your design. This is also very important because sketching your ideas before design will help you design well. The fourth one is design and develop your website. Now, when you must have finished defining your project, planning out everything, sketching out your ideas, in this number 4, you design and develop it proper by using your CSS and HTML. Now, there are other server and program that you can use to properly develop your website. Well, based on your goal, you will know the particular language to use, but basically in designing, you use HTML and CSS. The fifth one is optimization. After you must have finished designing and developing your project, you need to optimize it because optimization is very, very important. Optimization involves your site speed, because if you don't optimize your site well, the speed is going to be affected. You're also going to affect the search engine, your visibility in search engine. So optimization, be the fifth procedure, is very, very important. The sixth one is you launch out the website. How do you launch it out? There are other vendors where you can buy your domain name and the web host. Now, after you must have finished launching your website, it does not end there. Then you come to the seventh procedure, which is site maintenance. Now, these procedures are going to be explained in detail one after the other. So, listen and follow as it's been explained. Now, the first procedure is you define your project. Start off by defining the goal of your project. Your goal simply means what you are attempting to achieve by that project. This can be showing your portfolio to the world, selling an ebook, building a blog, etc. The second is define your audience. Now, after you must have finished defining your goal, you have to also ask yourself, who are my audience? Who are my audience? Which is the typical user that will visit my website. This will help you define properly your project. This is important because you should always design with your goal and audience in mind. Procedure number 2 is plan out everything. Once your project is defined, that is, you already know who is your audience and you already know the goal you are about to achieve, then plan your contents carefully. Once your project is defined, plan your content carefully. Your contents includes your text, your images, videos, icons, those things you want to put in your website. What I mean here by your content. Plan it carefully. Remember, visual hierarchy plays an important role when you start thinking about what you want on your website and what you don't. Defining the content before actually starting the design is called content first approach. It means that you should design for content instead of designing a web page and then fill it with some stuff. Now, you have to know what to add in your website. What do your visitor want to see first? What will they be interested on? These are the things that will guide you in planning out everything. Now, also plan your navigation. What are your buttons? Where are they supposed to be placed? What should be the content of them? Navigation is very important because it is a link that takes your viewer, your visitor, to a particular page or to a particular section in your website. So plan it out very carefully. Define the site structure. You can draw a sitemap in this step if we are talking about a bigger project. Defining your site structure is very, very important. Always make sure that during planning you define your site structure. The third procedure is sketch out your ideas before you design. Now it's time to get inspired and think about your design. Then get the ideas out of your head. And with that, I mean that you should sketch your ideas before you start designing. It will help you explore ideas and create a concept of what you want to build. Using pencil and paper is a great way of quickly retaining your valuable ideas. Make as many sketches as you want, but don't spend too much time Don't spend too much time perfecting anything. Once you have an idea, you can concentrate on the details when designing in HTML and CSS. I advise you to never ever start designing without having an idea of what you want to build. Getting inspiration is very important in this phase. Now, how do you get inspiration? You get inspiration by visiting other people's work, visit other sites, good ones. Look at their content structure, look at the hierarchies, look at the things properly about their codes and all that. This thing will help inspire you. Always visit other people's site. There is nothing wrong in you mimicking others. You have to mimic till you get into perfection. The fourth procedure is design and develop your website. After sketching, start to design your website using all the guidelines and tips you have learned in the web design tutorials. There are a lot of tutorials out there. Go buy them. There are also a lot of free ones. Buy them. Equip yourself with knowledge, because knowledge is power. You will do that you will design and develop your website using HTML and CSS, which is called designing in the browser. Designing in the browser is basically designing and developing at the same time. Now, you use HTML and CSS to design basically. Then for more functionalities based on the goal of your website, you can use other server and programming languages. There are more and more designers have leaving traditional design programs such as Photoshop and start designing in the browser. The biggest reason for this is that you can't design a responsive website in Photoshop. It also saves you tons of time. So learn how to use HTML and CSS for your design. In this phase, you will use sketches, content, and planning decisions you have made in step 1, 2, and 3. The fifth procedure is site optimization. Before you can actually launch your beautiful website for the world to see it, we have to optimize its performance in terms of site speed. You also need to do some basic search engine optimization before search engine optimization for each search engine such as Google, Bing. There are a lot of search engines. Always optimize your site. Consider your image size, consider your codes, look at them properly, because I know during design there might be 1 or 2 mistakes. Now in this stage you have to consider those things that will lower the speed of your website, because no visitor wants to stay long in seeing the website they log in, in opening and slowly. No visitor wants to see that. Always make sure that each time your visitor comes to your site, your site is easily accessible, fast, as quick as possible. Now optimizing it is not just the end. Your optimized website is now finally ready to launch. After optimization, your website is ready to be launched. All you need for launching is a web server that will host your website and deliver it to the world. 7th procedure is site maintenance. The launch of your website is not the end of the story. Now it's time to monitor your users' behavior and make sure some changes to your website if necessary. You should also update your content regularly in order to show your users that your website is alive. For instance, a blog can be a great way of doing that. Always make sure you monitor your site using Google Analytics, because it will help you a lot in knowing the performance and how your visitors respond to your website. Thank you for staying to the end of this brief tutorial. I believe these steps will help you in planning for your web design project. Now you can add me up on Facebook, on Twitter, and LinkedIn, and don't forget to drop a comment. Tell me the areas I need to improve. Tell me the things you want to learn. I'll be glad to give out these tutorials to you, and to interest you, my tutorials are going to be real. It's going to be a real world application. This is just the beginning. Come again. Always visit my channel, and I promise you new contents, imparting contents that will benefit you and improve your skill in web designing is what I'm going to always embark on. I'm glad you stayed till the end of this program. Thank you, and I pray and I believe you're going to, if these procedures I gave you are followed, you are going to improve in your web designing career. I wish you success. Thank you, and God bless.